Al. How's it going? Also, no chatbot right now because I'm a little tired, and I am tired kind of all the time lately. And when I'm tired, I don't really connect the chatbot because it's noisy and yeah. Scammed. Sorry, bud. You know, you'll get a full refund of your $0. Talking the Alpha's voice alright, easy enough. Anyways, how are you doing today? Hey y'all, hey Mr. L. I feel like it's actually been quite a while. How have you been lately? How's everyone doing on this lovely Monday? I guess actually it's Tuesday for many of us in chat. Approximately 50%. Me not entirely remembering if I actually said hello to Sampleton, although intuitively it feels like I would have, but you know. Anyways, how is everyone doing today? Sorry for the big yawn. Oh, I'm so tired. Doing okay? That's good to hear. I'm doing alright as well myself. Like I said, rather tired and been quite busy the last week. It's been a lot of taking care of family who have been in town because I finally actually was able to have a graduation commencement 2 years late last week. So, and a lot of not a lot of family, but by a lot of family I mean my parents came to town, and I had to entertain them. And as you know, parents can be a handful, so it's very little drained. I spent the whole day today being totally sedentary. Didn't do anything except play League and fill out some paperwork that I had to finish. Also sat down the whole day because I spent way too much time walking the last week. And oh my god, my legs are so fucking sore. Posture check, this is true. We do need posture check. I've been hunched all day like a sweaty gamer. Again, literally just playing League the whole day. Say something nice about myself. I smell pretty good right now. That's it. Officially graduated. Time to do it all over again. I know, right? Bruh. It was like almost like the funny thing is, like, for me it was I didn't even particularly care that much about the commencement. I mostly just went because my parents wanted to go and celebrate. So otherwise I probably, if they hadn't wanted to go, I probably wouldn't have gone because, you know, there's still COVID. A lot of the people that I would have wanted to see, like a lot of my close friends, didn't really come as attend either because, you know, a lot of people have moved away and it's really not convenient for them to take a day off in the middle of the week to... Hold on, I gotta sneeze. Okay, it's really not convenient for them because, again, the commencement was on Wednesday. It's not very convenient for them to just casually take off like a minimum of 3 days of work, I guess, right? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, just to attend a ceremony. So, I, again, probably wouldn't have gone, but my parents wanted to go, so, yeah, so they were in town, and again, as I love my parents, but... pretty tiring. Just, again, parents can be a little bit of a handful, and it's like no downtime at all. It's like spending the entire day with them, as well as like Like I lived pretty far away from where they stayed, so like I had to get up pretty early every morning and take the train to them, and it was just, and then like getting home at night, like I would call it an Uber for them, but then I'd take the train home by myself, and so it was like a lot of travel time. It was just a little tiring, but that's so valid. It was so long ago. Yeah. But I guess my original point with that is like it's really weird that like I'm actually realizing like this is the end of my life in New York basically. This commencement because I'm about to move out of the city in just a couple of months. First, my school did the graduation the following fall, and I was like, brought COVID, but also was like, what is college exactly? Yeah, I remember. I know you didn't go, but a friend of ours, right? I know that she went, and I honestly had some again reservations as well about attending the commencement. Because again, I am still pretty worried about COVID. So yeah, a lot like I was one of the only people like in this like because you know the students were sitting um right together. I was one of the only students that I could see that was like that wore a mask the whole time, and it's kind of I can't help but feel is kind of disgusting that that more people weren't wearing masks or that they weren't enforcing people wear masks in the commencement, right? It was kind of disgusting. I really did not like it. So hey, yeah, we gotta hang before you leave. Yeah, we do gotta hang. I was talking to a certain different friend of ours too, and we definitely gotta all hang before I dip. Just poked myself really hard on a piece of plastic by mistake. Where are you moving? I'll be moving to sunny Los Angeles in July. That commencement ceremony was stinky, so I didn't go. Also, Ian, I never asked how you're doing. Hope you're doing alright, though. Um, the commencement ceremony was stinky. I didn't go. But no, but you would have gone to the 2022. Oh, wait, you wouldn't have been able to go to the one that Taylor Swift spoke at, JK. The commencement, I liked our speaker actually. Judith, Human, I think was her name. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but she kind of popped off. I heard this Taylor Swift speech was kind of long and narcissistic and didn't make sense for about half of it. Or like was very, very unrelatable and not empathetic. But I don't know. But yeah, it was long. By the time it was over, a lot of my classmates were like, let's go get pictures. I'm like, no, I'm fucking going home, you guys. These robes are ugly as fuck. It's hot. Yeah, it was pretty hot that day. Not like hot, but it was warm that day. But I was like, these robes are ugly as fuck. I'm tired. I want to go home. My feet hurt. So I was like, later, bitches. I'm sorry, but I thought it was Kingdom Hearts. I did want to do Kingdom Hearts, but I'm kind of tired and really didn't want to do something that is going to require like concentration. Like, I mean, Shibuya Scramble involves a lot of reading, but this game is really easy to just literally just like stop it and like, I don't know. This game feels more chilled out than playing Kingdom Hearts, because Kingdom Hearts sometimes I am going to encounter stuff that becomes really hard and I have to focus, but I don't really want to do that right now, so well, we might do Kingdom Hearts on Thursday. Maybe, because I do want to make up a Kingdom Hearts stream, because we missed Saturday, so maybe we'll do it on Thursday, but I'm a little tired today. I'm doing fine. Work's been a lot lately, and my sister's wedding events for the next few months. Oh, yeah. Weddings are stressful, dude. Can weddings just be cancelled? Oh, God. When my sister got married, it was fun, but I really did not enjoy the amount of preparation work that had to go into it. I was just like, dude, this is too much. Wow, my friend said he liked her speech. I heard her speech was good, right? Like, I heard her speech was pretty good, but, like, kind of like, I mean, put it this way, Taylor Swift writes lyrics for songs for teenagers, so her speech very much sounded like it was written for teenagers, as well as, like, I don't know, I only talked to, like, I had a few friends that went to the 2022 commencement, but I only talked to one of them, And she was also like, it was kind of like not cursed, but like not empathetic in the sense that like Taylor Swift was like, guys, when I was 15, I was like really famous and going on tour, so I totally understand how difficult like your lives have been throughout college and the pandemic. And people were like, what? Like, in that sense, it was very not relatable and unempathetic. And that's like that from what I can understand, that's what they meant when they said it was kind of narcissistic, talking about like herself a lot. Taylor Swift was cringe AF, yeah. Didn't she also say don't be afraid to be cringe? That's on the other side of the US of A, if I recall correctly, and it gets hot there, is what I heard. Yeah. It is, I'm literally moving from one end to the other. Like, I'm living in the Northeast right now, and I'll be moving to the Southwest. And it does get pretty hot there, but it's dry. I'm used to the heat, especially since, like, New York can get pretty humid in the summer. So, I'm not so worried about the heat, honestly. I see. You're also close to the end of the game. Wait, am I actually close to the end of the game on Kingdom Hearts? I feel like I'm not that close. I feel like I'm like 2/3. Because we only just... Am I really close to the end of the game? Why can't weddings be like, you wanted to marry her? Do you want to marry her? Yes. Do you want to marry him? Yes, done. I agree, honestly. If I ever get married, I really am very happy to just go down to City Hall or whatever, get a marriage license. I don't know, give me a ring pop or something, and call it a day, because I am so fucking lazy and I hate hassle. Like, my parents are always like I went home for my sister's birthday last month. They're like, do you want to decorate? Because my sister loves to do decorations. And I hate it. And my parents were like, you should decorate. I'm like, no, please don't fucking make me go put up streamers and a sign. And please don't make me decorate the comp. So fucking lazy. Oh, what did I press? I should load the game as well. But wait, you didn't go on tour when you were 15? No. You know, they forgot to, they forgot me on the bus, you know, I didn't get, yeah, what? It makes no sense. I was already producing my second CD. Alright, yeesh, overachiever. A CD? CD's nuts. Oh, flushed. Sam has a good comeback. No, you are. You did the last gummy mission. Oh, shit. So, wait, Eon, how many... I mean, like... Okay, let's say, for example, every boss fight, I can clear it within one stream. It's not like the fucking Zaldin fight where it took me, like, 5 streams. But, like, how long... Like, how many streams do you think it'll be until I reach the end of the game? That's wild. I didn't realize we were actually that close to the end of the game. Also, let's stop. I'm gonna actually, without further ado, we head back to, Shibuya Scramble. So where we left off is, I left off at just like a pretty neutral place, like not because I hit a bad end or anything. I just, didn't really want to play the rest of his hour. I can't answer that, but you have a couple streams left. I mean, like, I guess, like, obviously it's hard to say, like, oh, you'll be able to finish it next stream, but, like, is it a difference between, like, oh, maybe it'll take you 3 more streams as opposed to, nah, bro, you still got 10 streams left? Like, where do you think it falls in that spectrum? Weddings shouldn't take a whole day, just 15 minutes at max, and both just say yes, and then everyone can fuck off and the newlyweds can enjoy themselves. Yeah. I mean, I think it's not to say, like, I feel like, so, like, for example, like, I don't really mind it in particular if other people want to have a big wedding. It's just, like, me personally, like, one, I don't want a big wedding myself. If I do ever get married, I don't know, I kind of like being single. I can do whatever I want, I can go wherever I want, I can eat whatever I want, I can say whatever I want, I don't have to take care of someone else. It's kind of nice having all the, anyway, but, like, if you want a big wedding, honestly, you just gotta... I don't know. Just be cognizant of those people you're involving in the big wedding and make sure that you are not making them miserable by involving them in this wedding. You know what I'm saying? That sounded toxic. I don't mean it like I was miserable about my sister's wedding, but, like... Gosh, it just her wedding was honestly. I don't even think she had the biggest wedding. Like her wedding was reasonable. It was like medium on the big side, but like it was kind of just really tiring for me to do all that because I was also her maid of honor, so I was in and again sister of the bride, so I was doing a lot of stuff and in the end she was like, "You've done too much for us, so here's a Nintendo Switch. Go have fun, kiddo." And I was like, "Let's fucking go." But it was very tiring. I was very tired for like 4 months. There are a lot of boss fights left, but I think it's closer to 3 than 10 streams. Okay, that's good to know, actually. I honestly thought we were still 10 streams away from the end, so noted. To be fair, vows are short and it's everything else that's consuming. Exactly, yeah, vows are really short. How many people are at your sister's wedding? 50 to 100 range. I think they invited about 100 people, and it's, excuse me, somewhere in the 50 to 100 range that attended. So, like, me personally, again, if like I said, if I ever do get married and I do have to have a wedding, my philosophy is number of people you can count on my fingers and toes plus my spouse's fingers and toes combined. So I have 10 fingers, 10 toes, so that's 20 people. And you know, my SO, who knows, maybe they have an extra toe, they got an extra finger, but still, or they're missing fingers or missing toes. But that still basically makes a max of like say 42, 43 invited guests, and they might not even all come. My sister's wedding's gonna have 300. Oh god, that's too much. I mean, also, Jan, like, I get you though. You know, you're also Asian, and Asians do have large weddings. So, anyways, I'm gonna play Shibuya Scramble now. uh, so we're in 220 of Minorikawa's story. Uh, we're in 220 of Minorikawa's story. When he finally snapped out of writing mode, he glanced at his watch. It was almost 2:20. Almost time for him to head to his next interview. Better get a move on. Kimizuka's taxi came by just as Minorikawa was hurrying out of the cafe. "Well, what a pleasant surprise," Minorikawa called out. "Nice timing, my man." Kimizuka's startled look quickly vanished behind an expression of professional resignation. "Do you need a ride, sir?" "You know it," Minorikawa replied. "First, head to Shoto. After that, I'll get to, Sakura something." As he cast his gaze out at the sights of the city, Minorikawa mulled over his plan for the next part of the day. First, he'd interview the Miss Midoriyama girls, then he'd meet with the head of that theater troupe. In order to leave himself enough time to write his copy, that meant... "I'd like to get this all wrapped up in 20 minutes, he said. "Can you make that happen?" Kimizuka flashed a grin. "That will incur a special fare, sir." "Yo, this taxi driver's a goon." "Oh, special," Minorikawa said as he got settled in the seat. "I love that word." Kimizuka stepped on the gas. "I don't even know 50 people, at most like 10, or at least people I would invite to my wedding." Exactly. And like, to be fair, I think me personally, the number of like, I mean like for me again, like if I'm going to be inviting, for example, 20 people to my wedding, like for my guest list part, like there'd be a solid 6 of them that's just straight up family. So that's already a quarter of the knocked out, you know. Shibuya was a town of contrasts. It was a town of young people, unpretentious, energetic. The Scramble, intersection, and center guide perfectly conveyed that vibrancy. However, if one turned right at the 109 building and headed down Bunkamura Dori, the town's whole atmosphere changed. Stroke. Shoto was one of Shibuya's, indeed, one of Tokyo's most upscale residential districts. Wherever one looked, there were stately manor houses giving off an imposing air, sending the message that this was no place for the common folk. "Right here is fine." Minorikawa directed Kimizuka to pull over. "Wait here for me. I'll be right back." Hopping out of the taxi, he checked the nameplates of nearby homes. Ah, here we go. He'd spotted a nameplate that read Osawa. Kenji Osawa, huh? The name nagged at him somehow.
It had been in the back of his mind ever since he'd seen it in the phone book back at the cafe. He'd heard it someplace before. Had he heard it someplace before? He walked up to the gate and pressed the button for the intercom. Oh fuck. Even the little chime it made when pressed sounded elegant. Minorikawa waited, but there was no response. He looked at his watch. It was 2:30 now. His interview with Shinosuke Oarai of the Wandering Angels was so started already. Still, he wanted to meet with the twins at first, if possible. Hydrate, Slurpee time. Give up and head to the next interview, I guess. I guess I'll have to come back later. Minorikawa decided he better get to his next interview. He started to head back toward the taxi. Suddenly, a man's voice came through the intercom. Yes, who is it? He sounded rather guarded. Gonna head out for now. Have a nice stream until next time. Alright, bye-bye, Mr. L. Have a lovely rest of your day. And I shall indeed see you next time. Bye-bye! It's Minorikawa. Where might I know you from, Mr. Minorikawa? Oh, you know, here and there. I mean, there's only one Minorikawa, really. Are you playing games with me? I don't have the time for that. Please, just open up. There's no way I'm letting you in. Got him. This discussion was getting them nowhere. Minorikawa decided he'd have to take the direct approach. Look, just hold your horses. I'm here for an interview. You got that? An interview. He'd taken the bait. Most folks could hardly resist the word interview. That's weird. Okay, for a second it sounded like it was raining, but like in my room. Whack. I don't know, maybe my roommate's like kind of pushing up like against the wall or something by mistake. That's right, it's a piece for 4-star general gossip. Wait, this is for one of those kinds of articles? The man sounded angry now. What do you mean, those kinds of articles? I'm just looking for an interview. Like hell you are. I'm not talking to anyone from the gossip. You're not the one I'm here to talk to. I want to interview your twin daughters. My daughters? No parent would deny their children a chance for word of their achievement to spread. I understand they want a shared prize for a beauty contest at Midoriyama Academy. If you wouldn't mind my interviewing them, the intercom cut out before Minorikawa could finish. Hey, what gives? I'm begging out here, on my hands and knees. He wasn't actually on his hands and knees, but whoever was on the other end couldn't see that. Yeah, they can. XD. If your daughters aren't home, can you at least tell them I want to get in touch with them? He wasn't even using the intercom now, he was just shouting over the gate. A man stepped out of the front door. Give me your business card, he said. I'll have them get in touch with you later. The man had a somewhat stricken look on his face. This had to be Kenji Osawa, then. Wait. Hold on. Osawa? Now Minorikawa recognized him. Water, sorry. This was Kenji Osawa, the preeminent virologist who'd worked for Okoshi Pharmaceutical. 4-star general gossip had run a scandalous article about him in the past. Midorikawa remembered reading it. He held out his business card and Osawa snatched it from him. The virologist started to head back into his house. Please, see that they get back to me, Mr. Osawa, Midorikawa shouted after him. And then he noticed something odd. It was the middle of the afternoon, but every window in the house had its curtains drawn. Sus. That, combined with Osawa's demeanor, set off alarm bells in Midorikawa's head. He knew he was onto something, but he couldn't linger at the Osawa residence any longer than he already had. He needed to get to the theater ASAP. He hurried back to the taxi and told Kimizuka to go. A few minutes later, the rear tires skidded sharply as the cab came to a stop beside a different curb. The trip from Shoto to the theater in Sakuragaoka had taken almost no time at all. Speed demon. Here we are, sir, Kimizuka announced. Wow, that was fast. The special fee. Still, Midorikawa was at least 5 minutes behind schedule. He hoped he'd still be able to get the interview with Oarai. Oh, interesting, okay. Taxi driver, best character, true. The taxi driver is a goon. Okay, a keep-out can only be broken by a jump. Okay, so Kano has a jump here now. It's Hitomi. Osawa remains silent. Can I make this? I feel like I've made this jump before, though. Yeah, that's not the jump we need, actually. Okay, JK. Let's see. So, 235. We need to find a jump at a 235. Oh, actually, let's play Kano's story and not jump then, I guess. Yo, what's good, Zola? How's it going today? Oh, whoa. I wanna fucking eat myself off a bridge for that. How's it going today, homie? What's good in the hood? Pretty good. It's been an eventful week, yeah? I feel you there, brother, but hopefully it's not bad eventful. It's Hitomi. Osawa remains silent. Excuse me. Mr. Osawa, is everything alright? The line went dead. Dead. Guess that answers that well enough, Kano said as he put away his phone. Now it was clear why the criminals were after Hitomi. He saw an uneasy look on Stanley's face. Something on your mind? Kano asked. Stanley responded with a question of his own. If Hitomi was carrying the antiviral, how were the criminals planning on getting it from her? Kano thought for a moment. While taking her by force at the scramble posed too high a risk, he said. There were nearly 100 detectives there. They must have guessed there would be. We read all this before. Oh, huh. So Kano still has the bad ending though because of the cat. How do we break that? Oh, it's a great eventful, definitely not bad. Love to hear it. Pop off. Pop the fuck off. Hopefully you can get in some rest time this week though. That's me right now. I'm like dead from last week. So, huh. I think we need to unlock the Osawa Keep Out before we can um keep going with Kano's story to get a better ending. If you want, I can DM to you. Sure, I can check it after stream. Check that. Oh, sorry, I'm a big snoozy boy right now. Yeah, sure thing. Oh, you don't want to talk about it on stream. Let's see. Did we make this jump before? Oh, wait, Minorikawa also hit a keep out. Maybe this might actually unblock it. Okay. Fuck it, I'll just put it in Twitch chat. You'll find out that everyone here is really fucking chilled out. We talk about a lot of things here. Both from serious to memes. I just got hired at a new job and I got a girlfriend this week. Let's fucking go! Sorry, that was really loud. I saw it hit like very high red, but congratulations! Handshakes, handshakes, handshakes all around. That's very exciting. Happy for you. When do you start your new job? Minorikawa got his wallet out of his jacket to pay the driver. Oh no, Kimizuka said, waving a hand. Don't worry about the fare. Why not? There's still plenty left over from what you paid me earlier, sir. That's what I meant by special fare. That's right. He'd pay Kimizuka a whole 10,000 yen for taking him to Endo Electronics earlier. But I mean, I'm not the sort of person to keep the change, as it were, Kimizuka said. Minorikawa felt a surge of pride at those words. You're my kind of guy, Kimizuka-san. A man on the job can always count on Hachiro Kimizuka's taxi. The driver grinned. This guy's cute. No, go on. Go! Thank you. I have a feeling we'll meet again. That feel when you quit League and get a girlfriend. I've actually got a really good story, though. Like, not story. But, yo. Just gotta say, I'm a great wingman in fucking League chat, by the way, okay? Life Virus was like, yo, how come people flirt with me more when I play with you than normal? And I'm like, because I'm your fucking hype beast in chat. I will ping when you have a shutdown and be like, that's my laner right there. Not to mention today that person, I don't know, who were we playing with? The Vex, when we had them on our team afterwards. The Vex, and they were like, yo, are you who was Morg? And I was like, oh, it's this dude that we're duo. And he's like, is he cute? And I was like, yes. You get angry if people learn. I know, it's so funny when people are like, yo, our AD is popping off. I'll be like, stay in your lane, punk. Eyes off, my laner. Oh my god, lol. Hey, Jinx. Do you need a BF? Do you need your dicky sucky? Real words that someone spoke to Light Virus once after a game that he fucking hard carried. Can I rave about something really stupid, by the way? Yeah, sure. Go for it. Let loose. That explains why I always flirt with Life Virus during your streams. True. See, I'm your hype beast, Life Virus. As Minorikawa entered the theater lobby, he saw a bunch of flower bouquets, patrons' gifts of appreciation. Among the names of the centers were celebrities he recognized. Evidently, the Wandering Angels were a pretty popular acting troupe. What are these words I'm hearing? I said it. Jinx, do you need your dicky sucky? Ah. Yeah, it's good shit. People were setting out pamphlets and flyers on a nearby table. There was a palpable tension in the air. The crew seemed skittish as they went about their work. He's late! Someone shouted all of a sudden. It was a man over in one corner of the lobby, railing angrily to nobody in particular. Why the hell hasn't that journalist shown up yet for the interview, XD? Looked like he'd been waiting on Minodikawa then. What's his deal? Pulling this while we're this busy? Ugh, it's Madge. He looked Madge. Guess that's Shinosuke Oarai. Why is it that I was single for over 2 years and for some reason I got hit on 2 times since I got with my GF a couple of days ago? Like, the fuck? People always just want what they can't have. Everything is more appealing when you can't have it. It's true. You know, grass is... Wait, no, that's not quite the right quote for this situation, but... It's true. And people, you know, just love being a homewrecker. Facts, exactly. I've been busy myself, Minorikawa said, keeping his composure. Trust me, I know how it goes. Huh? Who the hell are you? I'm the guy you've been waiting for, Mr. Or-I. The man glared at him. It's Oarai, he said. Anyway, I'm Minorikawa. Sorry to keep you waiting. Though really, a short wait is a small price to pay for the chance to be interviewed by me. Minorikawa got an ego and attitude problem, dude, though. I, don't like this dude. He's so annoying. Well, I hope you appreciate how valuable my time is now that you're taking it, snapped Oarai. Wow, someone sure has a high opinion of himself. Yeah, you. Minorikawa replied. He marched up to Oarai. Damn right I do. I'm Shinosuke Oarai. The theater man got right up in Minorikawa's face. Like anyone even cares. Burn! A jolt of tension sparked between the two men. Oh, around this time, there's a similar jolt of tension between 2 other people, Kenji Osawa and Mamoru Tanaka. We're gonna finish Minorikawa's story first. I beg your pardon? A woman interrupted. But Mr. Oarai does have a schedule to keep. And who are you, Miss... Tsukozawa, I'm the producer. Well, listen, Sue, I'm in the middle of an interview here. Please don't interrupt. I'm gonna go harass a couple more of my streamer friends now. See ya. Bye-bye. Good luck. Yeah. Harass them extra hard for me, you know? I'm in the middle of an interview here. Please don't interrupt. What? That's how you conduct an interview? That's right. This is how I roll. Look, whatever, Oarai growled. Let's just do this already. Fine by me. The 2 men sat down at opposite sides of a table in the lobby. But Tsukozawa spoke up again. Mr. Oarai, don't forget the meeting you have after this. Yeah, handle that, would you? Minorikawa let out a derisive snort. It's like you're holding court, he said. It's like you're holding court, he said. Do people actually hang around you with that kind of attitude? You have no right to judge my acting troupe. Minotikawa straightened up in his chair, a mocking smile on his lips. Oh, so it's your acting troupe, huh? Why not just play all the roles yourself? Heck, you could even be your own audience. How dare you? Oda rose to his feet and made to leave, but Tsukozawa herded him back down into his chair. Minotikawa continued as if he hadn't heard. Just what is it that you do anyway? He asked. Ohara raised an incredulous eyebrow. You don't know. No, why should I? You came to an interview. I really can't speak. You came to an interview without knowing anything about who you were interviewing. Yep. That's it. Get out! Ohara roared and pointed angrily towards the exit. How dare an unmannered clod like you come in here and waste my time? Hey, who's being unmannered now? I came all the way out here to hear your story, didn't I? Now why don't you get out? Noriko pointed at the exit as well. There's something like, man. There's something funny about how cheeky Minorikawa is, but oh god, it's also just so obnoxious. Why the hell should I have to leave? I demanded. This is my house. Oof. Ah, okay. Look, just get out. This time they both yelled and pointed towards the exit in unison. Tsukozawa quickly interposed herself between them, forcing a smile. Gentlemen, please, calm down, she said. Then she turned to Minorikawa. You should be aware that Mr. Owarai used to be a broadcast writer. He's responsible for a lot of big hits. You don't need to mention that, Owarai grumbled. Nonetheless, Tsukozawa rattled off the names of several shows. Minorikawa did indeed recognize many of them. He muttered, so how come you're running a failing theater now? Failing? Owarai went red in the face. I'm not wrong, am I? You're absolutely the rudest person I've ever met. What would a rank amateur like yourself know about theater? Owarai's face went dark with rage, but Minorikawa didn't back down. Listen, this has nothing to do with how well your theater is or isn't doing, he snapped. The television world wouldn't accept you, so in order to retain your pride as an entertainer, you started doing theater. Isn't that so? Don't act like you know anything. I've staked my entire life on the theater. It seems as if I might throw a punch at any moment. Sure, a city theater might seem small time compared to TV, but you get a lot more of a response from it. Response? Oh, now that sounds interesting. Darn right, Owarai exclaimed. You can see it from up on stage. The audience, you can see their faces. There is a passion in Owarai's voice now. You can really feel it. When the audience is enjoying themselves, you can feel that energy. You can't get that from doing television. Thinking back on it now, my time spent working on TV... Let's see, what's a good analogy? It's like being handed a towel that's already damp. No, that's not right. Okay, so a better analogy would be... And without further preamble, when I began talking about his tribulations back in his broadcast writer days. Norikawa smiled inwardly. The interview ended promptly after 15 minutes, the time that had been promised. Both men emerged from it as if from a daze. Minorikawa found himself staring Owarai in the face, shaking him by the hand. So, what kind of story did I just get? He asked, speaking half to himself. You heard about one man and his life. And I have to admit, it was a good interview. Thanks. You have my gratitude. Wholesome? Yeah. Agitate them to get them to open up about their life. Classic strat, but... Man. The agitation part? Awkward and rude. again, there's something I can appreciate about Minorikawa's quirkiness, and like I think like especially him more so than the other characters, like he has a very particular goal in mind, and he has a way about achieving that goal, right? So he like a lot of the time he agitates people to try and get elicit like a more honest and detailed kind of not detailed but like honest and spoken from the heart kind of response. So like he found that like he could sense that like Odai's dissatisfaction with TV broadcasts and why he would want to do theater, and he's like, oh well, that's my scoop, I'm gonna tap in there. But still getting there is he gets results, but his way of doing things a little bit too extreme for my taste, I guess. Mino is low-key wholesome. I could see it, because I think, how do I say this? Like, I think, you know, for him as a reporter, it seems like in this, like, as a character, he's very, very dedicated to just, like, finding a down-to-earth, honest truth to whoever he's talking to. Like, authenticity of someone's character and who they are. So again, you know, I can appreciate that, but his method's sometimes a little too dank for me. With a satisfied smile, Minorikawa closed his notebook. Right. Glad to hear that then. Odai inclined his head, looking a bit bewildered. A flustered Sukozawa interrupted. Mr. Minorikawa, wasn't this interview for a piece about the performance? Eh? Minorikawa blinked. It's just that you were only asking about Mr. Odai, not about the performance itself. I see what you mean. Actually, I came here for a piece I'm going to be writing called Where Are They Now? Washed Up Broadcast Writer Showcase. I washed up Odai was red in the face all over again. How dare you! Forget everything I just told you. I do not give you any of my permission to use it in your magazine. And Minorikawa just don't know when to shut his mouth. You're too late. What? I've already heard your whole story. You should be grateful that I'll be writing a piece on it. You bastard! With a wild look in his eyes, Odai snatched up a hammer the sage had left nearby. Wait! Ouch! Ouch! I haven't even hit you yet. Odai waved the hammer menacingly. The attack came to a sudden halt as the ringtone startled him out of his fury. Hold on a moment, Minorikawa said brightly. I'll have to take this. He whipped out a cell phone. Hello, Minorikawa speaking. This is Osawa. Wow, he called back a lot sooner than Minorikawa had expected. Have your daughters come home then yet? Yeah, come home then? No, there's actually a favor I'd like to ask you. I say low-key wholesome and then this happens. I know, right? A favor. Minorikawa thought back to his visit at the Osawa residence. The drawn curtains, a stricken look on Osawa's face. Minorikawa's instincts had sensed something significant was going on. Apparently, getting the full story wasn't going to come without some cost. Favor, huh? Is it something urgent? I'll pay whatever I have to. I just need you to look into something as quickly as possible. His voice had been the telltale desperation of a man who'd been backed into a corner. Alright, Minorikawa said, I can help you out for a little while. Osawa hurriedly explained what he was after. The request was a strange one. wanted Minorikawa to look into a scandalous article that the 4-star general gossip had run about him in the past. What makes this so important? I do have to say... do I have to say? Oops. I meant to toss a tissue into the trash can, and I missed. Point blank. I mean, you're asking me to look into something without explaining anything. He eyed Orai, lurking nearby with obvious irritation. Minorikawa would need to calm down the erstwhile broadcaster, or else this interview really would be for naught. He decided to bluff both men at the same time. Let me just say one thing, he said into the phone. He made sure he spoke loud and clear so that Orai would overhear. I want to tell the world this story. I need to tell it. No, I need to tell it. If I don't feel that way about something, no amount of money in the world would get me to write an article on it. That's my pride as a writer at work. Minorikawa could see Orai's aura of rage fading as he listened. The theater man looked surprised. Phew. Meanwhile, Osawa had decided to open up a bit. Alright, he said. I can't share all the details, but... Okay, he's in a talkative mood now. Good job, Minorikawa. See, this is going fine. The power balance of the entire world might be at stake here, Osawa continued, and I mean that quite literally. I can tell you more after you're done investigating. Wait, was he serious? Stroke? How could the world's balance of power hinge on looking into some alleged marital affair? Stroke? I'm actually having a stroke. It was so absurd that Minorikawa had to fight the urge to burst out laughing. A person would need to be out of his mind to believe a story like that. But Minorikawa wasn't the average person. And sometimes the truth was so ridiculous it really was stranger than fiction. Osawa wasn't lying. Minorikawa's instincts told him that much. Alright, he said. I'll check the editing department's notes from back then. He'd nearly forgotten, for the moment he nearly forgot Toyama and his troubles. When he ended the call, Owadai approached him and extended his hand. Listen, your methods might be a little extreme, but I can tell you take pride in your work. Of course I do. I'm sorry for getting so worked up. I bet you'd write a fine article about me. So please, Mr. Minorikawa, let the world know about me and my half-lived life. Aww. Minorikawa took the offered hand and shook it. Leave it to me. Once I'm done with it, you won't just be some washed-up nobody anymore, Mr. Orai. It's Orai. Minorikawa grinned. Minorikawa rushed out of the theater. He'd completed all the interviews that could get done before 4 o'clock. Now he had half an hour left to write it all up to convince the folks from the loan company that the gossip could stay afloat. He let out a roar, psyching himself for the final push. Me, followed by a big yawn. This hour hasn't particularly ended with anything like cliffhangery or a reveal of any sort, so I'm kind of wondering where this hour is gonna end in terms of like, right, the greater narrative. Obviously, right, we still have to get kind of the right ending, and we still have to finish Osawa's story, but just curious. So the jump is in Minorikawa. Booyah! Booyah!
Hi, Kevin. How's it going? How you doing today?
How have you been since we were playing ARAM earlier? Oops, sorry, let me just respond to my parents real quick. Just sent me kind of a important text message. Okay, sorry. I just woke up, back to work. Good morning, sunshine. Good luck with your work, though. I saw that, like, on Twitter, you said that you lost a lot of work. Because fucking Adobe, but you were able to recover it. So that's very cool. That's very good. Must have been some intense ARAM. Went, knocked it out of Kevin, went to sleep. Can't pick up the phone, have to pick up the phone, sorry. Ozawa picked up his cell phone and dialed Tanaka's number. The phone rang several times. You know, I was actually thinking about this randomly on Saturday for no reason at all. Like, I was thinking about Shibuya Scramble, and I really don't know if I think Tanaka's a bad guy or not. Like, I can see so much motivation for him to be a bad guy. It took like an hour to recover. I know, right? I was wiped too, dude. Not me promptly playing more League like 30 minutes after, because like I had to make a couple phone calls, but then I, finished them and went back to fucking playing League. Fucking AD is hard. I played like 6 Varus games, or I guess, no, I played like 5 Varus games, and holy shit, I'm so bad at, well, I think I'm very bad at macroing as AD. I'm always in the wrong place at the not right times, so, but I'm getting better at kiting, okay? My kiting was not horrible today. Tanaka just sounds like a bad guy name. It does. Like Hitler or Pol Pot or Penguin Coco. True! And then you save the best for last, right? Just right-click Lamau JK. Yeah, I know! It really is just stand there and right-click, but I'm just so not used to, like... I very rarely play auto attack-based champions, so it's just like, it's hard to... Well, no, I think I'm more used to actually autoing now, just because I've been playing so much ARAM, but oh, holy shit. Like, out of lane, I'm just like, God, I need farm, but then I always go to the wrong places to farm. Whee! Also, massive sub diff, got hard carried by Life Virus earlier. Right click, KS. Easy money. Oh. He listened grimly to the empty mechanical sound, preparing himself for disappointment. Yeah, I don't know. Like, so I can see a lot of motive for Tanaka to be a bad guy, right? So, like... Tanaka is supposed to be like Osawa's like assistant, like second in command, right? Maybe he's like jealous of Osawa. So he wants to be like, yeah, fuck you and your daughters, but I don't know. He just seems like too obvious the choice for the bad guy right now, and I don't know. I feel like he's actually they're like, since he's such an obvious choice for the bad guy right now, he might actually be innocent, or he's such an obvious choice for the bad guy that they're anticipating the audience is going to say no, he's too obvious of a choice for the bad guy, so we'll actually make him the bad guy because they're never going to suspect that the obvious choice for the bad guy is actually the bad guy, right? We are now very deep into the Inception hole, but it's fine. But yeah, I really don't know. What is it? Tanaka's voice sounded coldly in Osawa's ear. The tension was electric. Osawa felt a surge of outrage. He wanted to scream, but he took a deep breath and managed to maintain control. Tanaka? Where are you? Is Maria alright? Tanaka did not reply. The police told me. They said you were connected to the kidnapping. A soft chuckle came from the other end of the line. He's evil! Well... The police sure do know how to do their jobs. He's evil! Tanaka's tone was unapologetic. He sounded nothing like the man Osawa thought he knew so well. Yeah, he spends years climbing and climbing and getting close to his inner circle and then gonna stab him in the back. Why would you do this? Money? Are you having money troubles? Money, Tanaka replied. I suppose that's part of it. Honestly, I doubt you'd understand. Do you have any idea what it's like being... what it's been like for me, doing our research together? You're always the one who takes center stage. The fruits of our success are all yours. Oh, so Osawa always takes the credit. Even though you couldn't have done any of it without me. The more he said, the more vitriol seethed into his words. Osawa's hand trembled as he clutched the phone. Not the slow chuckle, anything but the slow chuckle. That's almost as bad as the slow clap or the malicious grin. Not like this. The taker can never understand how it feels to be taken from. You've hoarded so many things to yourself, so I'm taking some of them back. And with that, he hung up. Hey! Tanaka! Osawa dialed the number again, but Tanaka didn't pick up. Osawa racked his brain thinking back on how Tanaka had been acting earlier that day. Had there been anything unusual? Hold on 1 second. Okay. Any clue at all, no matter how small. If you could find some hint, maybe he'd be able to find Maria Hitomi. That was it. I had been suspicious of Tanaka all alone. Pinky softly chuckles. Uh-oh, uh-oh. I can tell you guys exactly why I'm laughing. It's because I tabbed over to my to Chrome for a second, and I have the weather open, just the New York weather, and look at the temperature. Nice. That was it. I had been suspicious of Tanaka all along, so much that she planted a bug on him hidden in a tie clip. Her suspicions must have been pretty strong. Wait. Osawa recalled what Kajiwara had said. But still, if she is that worried, giving a tie clip as a gift is a bit... The words had struck Osawa as odd when he first heard them. I had never given him a tie clip. His heart gave a heavy throb in his chest. It couldn't be. No, it was impossible. That article from 4-Star General Gossip crept back into his mind. Eyes in cahoots. I love that for you. Thanks. Nice. The article talked about a man I had dated before she married Osawa. The man's identity was never revealed. Could it have been Tanaka? You've hoarded so many things to yourself, so I'm taking back some of them. Tanaka's cold words took on a new depth of meaning. I just look like an evil person. Big evil stepmom energy, yeah, I agree. She just looks like a bitch. I feel bad, because, you know, that's just how the actress looks, but she looked like a bitch. Osawa felt the foundations of his life begin to crumble. Were Tanaka and I accomplices in all this? No. Wait. Just calm down. He couldn't let himself jump to conclusions. He needed to be more level-headed. Everything depended on it. If the two really were accomplices, why would I have planted a bug on Tanaka? What purpose would that serve? What could it mean? It was no use. Osawa couldn't think of how that made sense. First things first, he needed to establish what the relationship between I and Tanaka really was. Once he figured that out, he'd be able to get a better handle on the situation. Obviously, he couldn't just go and ask Ai directly. If he really were involved in all this, she certainly wouldn't tell him the truth. Osawa thought back to the business card he'd tossed in the trash. He didn't relish the thought of getting help from that scavenging hyena, but now was no time to be picky. If he wasn't able to leave the house, he needed someone else to do the investigating for him. The freelance writer, Minoru Minukawa, was Osawa's only hope. Oh, so this is the twist that ends the hour. We found it! Huh. So, Kono Sasayama and the rental guy were sent into another dimension due to the malfunction of the cats. Detective Sasayama should probably never have put that cat suit on. He mentioned buying it at a variety shop on Sector Guy. That's your lead here. So how do we fix the Sasayama part? Okay. What was this jump? This is a jump we'd already done a long time ago. I was gonna say, well, it should be in the same time block, but I just realized it's a bad end, not a time keep out. Oh, that's a different hour altogether. Well, so when does Sasayama get he gets the suit when, right? Maria ditches it, but oh, okay, it's here actually. Hold up. I forgot that this was part of the hour. I thought this was previous hour. What should I do? I feel a little guilty about asking him to get out of, I feel a little guilty about asking him to go out of his way for me to more than he already has. Maybe I should deal with it myself. He obviously wants to help me. May as well have him get rid of the costume too. No, okay, so I'll take care of the suit. Huh. I buy the necklace for 30,000 yen and leave the knick-knack shop hauling the costume with me. But as I walk along, I start regretting my decision and can't find a good place to throw the cat outfit away. Finally, I spot a convenience store that looks like it'll do just fine. One of the employees out front cleaning out the trash can. Several large garbage bags line the side of the road. Perfect. Maybe I can have him toss out the costume along with everything else. Excuse me. So I've got this old cat suit here. I figure it can't hurt to ask. Yeah, I know. The shop boy takes the costume from me. Hakukano, Tonjiro getting... Okay. You're here to throw this thing out. I got it. He sounds wholly unsurprised, so he accepts it so blindly that I actually feel bad. It's been like this all morning, he says. I don't even care anymore. Just throw away what you need and be on your way, I guess. Poor dude. It's been like that. Been like what all morning? I'm out here cleaning and people keep dumping trash on me. First it was this couple that threw away a garbage bag at me. After some homeless looking guy took all his clothes off and left. Sasayama, yeah. just now, some chubby girl tossed out some empty cardboard boxes and a bunch of empty bottles. That must have been Chidi. She was probably drinking the burning hammer while she walked along. So when you came by just now with this thing, I knew right away. Yep, this again. I'm sorry. It's alright. 3 times, 4 times, what's the difference? He flashes a bright smile, but is clearly insincere. Then he looks at me more closely. Huh. Aren't you the girlfriend of that dude who threw the garbage bag at me? What? Nope, not me. Guess I'm misremembering then. Well, anyway, thanks for your help with this. I give the guy a bow. Okay. So we have... Okay, we've corrected the story entirely. Okay. Ten minutes later... Making the arrest, he said, there was a note of courage in Sasayama's voice. He came into view on the monitor, walking casually. At some point, he ditched the anime nerd costume for a street dancer's getup. It didn't appear that El Karawan had noticed him yet. Bit by bit, Sasayama closed the distance. Not much further now. Kano's hand balled into a fist as he watched, and then something unexpected happened. Another man came running into view, right in the middle of the monitor. There was no sound, but they could see that the newcomer was shouting something. As Al-Karawan turned to look at the man, Sasayama launched himself like a bullet from a gun. In an instant, Detective and Perp were locked in a violent scuffle right on the street. Kano swallowed a lump in his throat as he watched the struggle unfold. Earlier in the day, Al-Karawan had done a number on Sasayama, but this time, the detective had the upper hand. He got a grip on Al-Karawan's neck and kneed him repeatedly. Al-Karawan tried desperately to bring Sasayama to the ground, but Sasayama braced himself and avoided the takedown. Oops, didn't need to press that. Then he shifted his stance and took Al-Karawan to the pavement with a spectacular hip throw. Whoop-ap! Yes! Kano clapped his hand together in excitement. Catching the perp in a scarf hold, Sasayama got out his handcuffs. Stanley, we should head to the scene, Kano said. He looked away from the monitor for a mere moment. And when he looked back, Sasayama had released his hold and crumbled to the ground. What? Panicked, Kano stared at the image of his friend. There was something jutting up from Sasayama's abdomen. He's been stabbed? Zoom in! Kano cried frantically. The camera closed in on Sasayama. That can't be real. There's no blood. Now Kano could see exactly what he feared. Oh. Sasayama had been stabbed in the gut. The blood pooled on the pavement around him. Kano screamed, Sasayama! The camera showed several other detectives arriving at the scene, capturing Al-Karawan before he could escape. Judo-ta! Ah! Dead. He's dead. But Sasayama lay motionless. The pool of blood had spread further and further across the pavement. Unable to look any longer, Kano rushed from the surveillance room. Is that a bad end? Wait, that's actually how... Oh my gosh! Bruh. Not Sasayama, he's best boy. Dang scarf hole, I know, right? Oh man, okay, so that is the end of the 2 to 3 hour. Pengi said no cliffhangers. I know, right? Man, it's... I think something I don't really particularly enjoy is like... It truly feels like every hour it's the Kano... It's Kano that moves the story forward. I don't really, like, not enjoys the story... Not moves the story forward, but it's always Kano who's the last one to complete their, like... Well, actually, I guess in this situation, I actually could have unlocked Kano's story a lot faster had I had the right decision for Maria. The reason that Kano was the last character we pushed forward is because I took too long to find the Maria part. But like, if we had just let the poor garbage dude at the convenience store take care of the cat costume, we probably could have gotten to the end of Kano's chapter a lot faster. So, I don't know. But again, it tends to always feel like there's whatever's happening, and I mean, he's also most directly related to the conflict unifying all of them. It's him and Osawa who are the most directly related to it, but it always kind of feels like it's what's going on in Kano's story that really is what's driving the story forward. Does that like make sense? True. But then my boy got bullied. No. True, but if you prefer playing certain characters, you tend to finish them first. I mean, I don't know, because I do prefer playing Kano as the thing. Like, I always start with Kano's story, too. But I think also the flaw in that is because, like, oh, well, since he's the first character I start playing for the hour, he's naturally going to have the most blocks, because, right, like, oh, because I still need to basically, do a little bit of every other character's story, at least some, first, before I could proceed, right? I mean, every character is like that. Even if I started with, like, Minorikawa first, like, Minorikawa would eventually hit a block because he needs to be unblocked by another character. So, like, we always do Achi and Maria first and leave Mino last. True. Okay, we're not gonna start with Kano because I know eventually we're going to hit some dead end. So, okay, goal for this hour. I want to be able to... We'll leave Kano's story basically for last. So let's start with Achi. Because, you know, Achi best boy too. Kanan led them into a narrow back alley. The moment she stopped, Hikomi spoke up. Why was my sister kidnapped? Before I answer that, there's something I need to tell you. Kanan said her tone was cold and sharp. I've come to Japan because I'm on a mission. I'm not at liberty to discuss all the details. Alright. Hitomi gave a slight nod. To answer your question, Maria was kidnapped by mistake. What? Hitomi gasped. But why? Because the kidnapper isn't after Maria. They're after you. Who's after me? The mastermind behind this whole thing, Kanan said. Her tone was matter of fact. Whoa, hold on, Achi interrupted. What do they want Hitomi for? That I cannot say. Well then, who is this person? I can't tell you that either. You see, their sex, nationality, age, appearance, just about everything about them is shrouded in mystery, so there's honestly not much I can tell you. Achi and Hitomi stood dumbfounded. What gives? Achi said. So you're saying all you know is that this person has some lame name, like Mastermind. Hitomi turned to whisper in his ear. Mastermind isn't actually their name. I'm here, Kanan spat, because I'm looking for revenge. Revenge? Hitomi asked. What for? This person also killed my friend. Kanan's inscrutable eyes flashed with a threatening gleam. Earlier you said that it was your fault my sister got kidnapped, Hitomi said. Kanan cast her eyes down. 4 days ago, I managed to learn this criminal's plan. So I got in touch with Maria and told her that you were going to be attacked at that party. So that's why she told me not to go. Tomi's voice trembled as she spoke. I gave Maria a small GPS tracker to give it to you, but I guess you never got it? Hitomi shook her head. I see. She must still have it then. Oh, so is the GPS tracker the necklace? Wait, so then my sister... The color drained from Hitomi's face as she understood. Yes, Kanan replied. Maria acted as a decoy and let herself get kidnapped in your stead. Hitomi swayed on her feet, shocked to the verge of fainting. Achi hurriedly reached out and caught her in his arms. But wait, he said to Kanan as he held Hitomi up. I don't get that either. Then nobody would have been kidnapped, right? I mean, why'd her sister need to go and act as a decoy? She wanted to get caught. Kanan let out a tiny sigh. If she hadn't gone then to the party, the kidnappers would have just found some other opportunity to come after her. Ah, okay. Achi nodded. Yes, Pikachu nod. That sort of makes sense. I'm betting that Maria's plans was to use the GPS to lead me to these guys' hideout. She wanted to keep her sister safe and also figured she could help me with my mission. Are we rooting for Hitomi and Achi to get together? Hitachi. You know, I want my boy Achi to have his happy ending, but I don't know if I particularly ship them, per se. I don't know how much actual chemistry it feels like they got, but they are cute. You know, she's the smart, sophisticated one, and he's the dopey one. I don't know. Oh, I missed the second sentence. It's the sort of scheme she'd think of, XD. So then you can't use the GPS to locate Hitomi's sister? Achi asked. Kanan shook her head. The GPS hasn't been powered on since she was kidnapped. It's possible the kidnappers took it from her. I bet it's the necklace, honestly. Wait, what? So after all that, you can't even find Maria? Achi slumped his shoulders in disappointment. I didn't say that. What do you mean? I got some intel from those syndicate members we met earlier. Apparently, sometime this morning, they put Maria into a blue minivan, and since then they've been moving her around, all around Shibuya. Achi and Hitomi exchanged glances at the mention of the blue minivan. It's cute when she corrects his words. Yeah, that is pretty cute. Mastermind's not his name. She can make him smart, but yeah, I truly don't know if I actually want them to get together or not. Achi and Hitomi exchanged glances at the mention of the blue minivan. Unfortunately, Kanan continued, those operatives didn't know what the current situation was exactly. So we're back to the blue van then. Achi hurriedly explained what they'd been through so far. He mentioned how they'd first seen the blue van where the kidnappers had told Hitomi to find it. He also described how first the man with the cane and then a host of others had come after them. He got a little sidetracked here and there, but Kanan quietly listened to the end. I see, she muttered. I see! So then, what do you think? Achi asked. Seems like we messed up their scheme a little, huh? Whatever the case is, this man with the cane concerns me, Kanan said. I doubt he's working with the others. I don't know what that means. Maybe that's it. Some guy who isn't involved butts in and throws off their whole plan. Kanan nodded in agreement. Because you and that man with the cane showed up, she said they couldn't leave the minivan where it was. They took a sensible precaution. But then if you think about it, this is an opportunity for us to turn the tables on Mr. Mastermind. Mr. Mastermind. Interesting alliteration. Kanan flashed him a speculative smile. I wonder about that. Oh, come on, Achi grumbled. Oh, come on, Achi grumbled. You're such a buzzkill. Any well-made plan has a good, solid outline. It's easy to trace things back to the planner. Is that how that works? By contrast, if you achieve your goals using accidental means, the outline becomes blurred and it makes it harder for anyone outside looking in to grasp what the actual plan is. Achi swallowed hard as he took in the gravity of the situation. Well, but I mean, like, if there's an accident, people are for sure gonna panic. Plan or not. The corners of Kanan's lips curled up. Typically, I suppose, she said. But the people who are after Hitomi, not only have they put together a perfect plan, they've purposely left tiny holes in it. And so we can't even figure out who they are. The outline of the plan is always too blurry. Achi had no response to that. It was like he was hearing about some completely different world beyond the one he knew. If what Kanan had said was true, he'd be dealing with opponents that were on a level way above his own. Oops. In any event, since these people are after you, it'd be best if you didn't wander around town anymore, Kanan told him. By now Hitomi had recovered. She stood up straight and shook her head. No, I'm going to find that blue minivan. My sister is in danger because of me. I can't abandon her just to save myself. Yeah, that's right. Achi patted Hitomi on the back. And if that's what you're gonna do, then I don't care who we're up against. I'm with you in this until the end. Heck, it's too late for me to back out now. That ship has already failed. Bruh. Hitomi giggled despite herself. It's already sailed, Achi. Yeah. Kanan let out another little sigh. Alright, just make sure you're extra careful, she said. You can't count on getting bailed out of trouble like you have before. I understand, Hitomi said. Her eyes showed no trace of doubt or fear. Kanan gave her a slight nod, then quickly disappeared down the alleyway. A Swiss cheese playing. Cheese. Oh, I want cheese. Right then, Achi said, wanna get back to looking for that minivan? Then he stopped, remembering their previous efforts. If they just heedlessly wandered around town, they'd probably end up in the same trouble they'd encountered before. Yeah, I mean, that's literally what Kanan just said, you know. Or they'd get chased by the man with the cane or by the kidnappers, and their search would be interrupted yet again. What should they do? What should they do then? There had to be a better way. Achi happened to glance upward and caught sight of a surveillance camera installed on the on one of the streetlights. That's it! Hmm? I can't believe I didn't think of it before. Hitomi peered at him, startled by his sudden shouting. We need to just use my old man's surveillance cameras. This'll be a breeze. Achi took Hitomi by the hand and started running. His destination? The security camera monitoring room in Dogenzaka. Achi didn't slow his pace until they were nearing the destination. Then he turned back to look at Hitomi. He started to ask if she was doing alright when someone close at hand called out to him. Bruh. Hey, mind if I ask you something? Have you ever heard of SOS? Oh, yeah, ow! I just dropped a pen on the floor. Achi theme? I liked the Tama theme a lot, like, specifically the cat costume theme. It's so cute, so sad that it's not just Maria's theme. Although it doesn't really make sense to represent Maria knowing that us knowing that she's kind of a badass. It's too cutesy and whimsical and like nursery-ish. Which, you know, good for the cat costume, but not so good for, you know, knowing who Maria is. Achi stopped in his tracks as a stranger stepped in front of him. The guy looked too old to be picking a fight with SOS. Achi regarded him with suspicion. Yeah, why do you ask? Ayakamiki. Do you happen to be a member yourself? No, not anymore. The man's eyes flashed with a gleam of recognition. Did this guy know who he was? With a broad grin, the stranger took a step closer. Achi's heart sank. He couldn't afford to get caught up in some new hassle right now. Tommy flashed him a worried look. Let's go. Achi and Hitomi dodged past the man and hurried onward. Even if the guy was harmless, they needed to be on their guard. There was no telling how many thugs and assassins were looking for Hitomi. Rather than head directly for the surveillance building, Achi decided he better make sure the stranger wasn't up to something. Hitomi followed as he slipped quickly into a back alley. There was no indication that the man was following them. What was that guy's deal? Hitomi asked. No idea. But he sure seemed kind of fishy. Doesn't look like he's coming after us, though. Yeah, Minorikawa is kind of sus. Though, they took a quick detour through another seedy back alley. Then, as they were starting to head towards their original destination, Achi felt a sudden searing pain in his back. What? I guess we should stay? Well, we didn't have an option to stay and talk to Minorikawa. And there was no jump either. I mean, I figure something in Minorikawa's story was going to make us stop and talk to him, I think. Because we have to stop. Glancing over his shoulder, he discovered that one of the foreign syndicate members had crept up and struck him from behind. Oh no, I've been stabbed. Ah! Hitomi screamed. Oh no, I've been impaled. Another man had suddenly appeared, grabbing her by the arms. Hitomi. Oh no, I've been stabbed. Iconic. Achi tried to reach out to her, but his arm was leaden. His body refused to obey his commands. As the attacker wrenched the knife from his back, Achi felt the blood gushing out of his wound. The two men started to drag Hitomi away. Damn it. He tried to pursue them, but his legs faltered and couldn't find their footing. He was losing blood so fast he was starting to fade from consciousness. What are you gonna do? Stab me? Achi could only watch impotently as Tommy was dragged further and further away. Wow, some of the bad ends in this game honestly are really horrifying when you think about it. Achi got stabbed, caught in a surprise attack by one of the kidnappers. He could only watch helplessly as Hitomi was taken away. If that weird guy hadn't tried to talk to him, Achi would never have taken the risk of wandering through the alleys. But how can you keep that— oh, okay. So I guess it's actually the other way. Not exactly what I thought, it's other way. Because I thought that we need to get Minorikawa to persuade Achi to stay on the streets and talk to us, but we just need Minorikawa to be at a different place at that time. Bro, the cat costume one, we literally got sucked into the cat dimension. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. But I don't know, you know, that was a cute, funny one. Alright, let's play Minorikawa, I guess. I do kind of like the setup though, you know, that like, you know, one character's blocking another, and like, you can start from any character at the beginning of an hour, and they will kind of let you know where to go next, right? Like, so because of Achi's bad end, the very clear next place to go is to go play Minorikawa. Like, this game does a really good job of like basically consistently, like, you never feel lost, honestly. Very, very rarely. Even that is preferable to my boy Sasayama getting got. I know, right? I like Sasayama, so I hope he's okay. He's a funny dude. Wait a second. I feel like there's something I'm forgetting. He's in the middle of traffic. Minorikawa stopped and let out a cry of frustration. Daisuke Endo had asked him for a favor after their interview was done. He promised to tell the Wandering Angels that the dry ice machine they'd purchased was defective. Well, damn. That had completely slipped his mind. If you recall correctly, the issue was that once the machine started making dry ice, it wouldn't stop. If he ran back to the theater now, he'd lose about 10 minutes. Minorikawa checked his wristwatch. The lone people will be coming by the office before too long. He needed to prove to them that the next month's issue of 4-Star General Gossip was well underway, or else they'd refuse to wait any longer for repayment. And to do that, he'd need to fill a minimum 6 of the 12 remaining blank pages. He couldn't afford to waste even a single second. This was an awkward position to be in. He needed to keep his promise to Endel, but he also needed to spend his time wisely. Bah. Head back for the theater, then that'll prevent him from running into Achi, right? He'd agreed to take on the responsibility. He headed back for the theater. When he got there, he flagged down the first guy he saw and told him about the dry ice machine. Hey, make sure you remember what I'm saying. Make sure you remember what I'm about to tell you, okay? The dry ice machine is broken. The man stared at him blankly, but Minori just forged ahead. Got it? The dry ice machine is broken. It needs to go back to the electronics store. Make sure you let the folks in charge here know. His obligation meant he hurried back to the cafe to get back to work on his copy. Along the way, he caught sight of a young couple running. Fuck, they seemed like an odd pair. The girl looked prim and proper while the boy struck him as a bit thuggish. In fact, the boy's clothing was very much like the style worn by Shibuya street gangs. Maybe he'd know something about SOS. Oh, fuck. Hurrying to cross their path, Yorikawa called out to the... Wow. I knew what I needed to do, but I chose the wrong one. Sorry, Endo. Sorry, Ora. You're just gonna have to let this one slide. He opened the door to the cafe with the practice of a regular... Oh, excuse me. That was gross. Volka! The waitress had only gotten that far before her face fell. You again. Hey, hurry up and get me a seat, she grinned wickedly. I'm terribly sorry, sir, but we're all full at the moment. He looked around. All the seats were indeed filled. As you can see, sir. Really now? The waitress's grin widened with triumph. Yes, sir. Fine, I'll just right here. Let me get some power, bruh. Jamming his power cable into a nearby outlet, Minori plunked himself right down on the floor and booted up his laptop. The waitress watched in dismay, then turned to stare vacantly up at the ceiling. Just do whatever you want, she muttered vaguely. That's me. You know, a person can only get away with being obnoxious for so long. Sooner or later, someone's likely to call the police. Minori looked up from his work, startled to see the burning hammer salesman standing over him. You're Mr. Yanagishita. Thank you so much for stopping by earlier. Are you going to write your article here? Yanagishita eyed Minorikawa's computer. Oh, that's the latest model, isn't it? Look, I got no time to talk right now. Minorikawa opened the file with his half-written copy. Ooh, what's this? Chaos at Bogus Weight Loss Drink Sales Demo? Yanagishita read the copy aloud. The organizer, Jinichi Yanagishita, didn't merely have a whiff of deceit about him. His breath also stunk. Sounds good. Sounds good? Minorikawa asked. I wanted to make sure I gave the accurate impression. Oh, I love what you've done with it. This is a great copy. Fantastic. Yanagishita turned to look at him with a manic grin. Yeah, isn't it? In a flash of Yanagishita's face went from grinning to livid. Like hell it is. Did you actually let you write something like that? Bruh. Snatching up the computer, Yanagishita bolted out of the cafe. Hey, get back here! Minorikawa leapt to his feet and rushed off in pursuit. As he sprinted madly along, Yanagishita turned down a narrow alley. Love this guy. Yanagishita's more okay. He's just a clown. I like him more than I like Minorikawa. Minorikawa stayed close behind, desperate not to lose sight of him. His quarry began to weave his way through the back alleys of Shibuya. This guy clearly knew his way around town. By Miyashita Park, they zipped up onto a pedestrian bridge. He's a good foil to Mino, the straight shooter and the clown. Yeah, I mean the clown, again, clownish, but I can respect the not the respect. I can prefer the clown over the person who just has no manners and thinks. I don't know. I mean, Yanagishita has no manners either, but you know. Yorikawa is the character I'm supposed to take serious. I'm clearly not supposed to take Yanagishita serious, you know? Just where the heck was this idiot going? Halfway across the overpass, Yanagishita suddenly stopped. Confused, Yorikawa stopped as well. Give that back, he called. You can drop it over. Yep. The next moment, Yanagishita flashed a mommy grin and dangled the laptop over the railing. Yorikawa lunged toward him. He was already too late. The laptop left Yanagishita's hand and went spinning down to the air. Then, as the two men struggled, Yanagishita himself toppled over the railing. Without hesitating, Yorikawa jumped over as well. Wah! And they're dead. They're dead. Yorikawa landed hard. As he struggled to regain his breath, he looked around and saw Yanagishita behind him. Incredibly, the laptop was safe in the charlatan's grasp. Apparently, he'd somehow managed to catch it midair. Before Yorikawa could be too relieved, however, Yanagishita got to his feet and took off running again. Get back here, you little weasel. I don't think so. This Yanagishita guy was infuriating. That and he was really fast. Yorikawa considered himself a decent runner, but he couldn't manage to gain on Yanagishita. If running away was a competitive sport, the guy would be a world-class superstar. As he ran along, a peculiar thought occurred to him. Hold on a minute. If he hates my copy that much, shouldn't he have wanted my computer to break? Why'd he go out of his way to catch it like that? It made no sense at all. Hey! Yorikawa shouted between gasping breaths. What are you planning to do with my laptop? Yanagishita glanced back at him. Gonna sell it. Sorry about this. What? Yorikawa was taken aback. Consider it a compensation for defamation of character. Come on, get real. It can't be defamation if the article isn't run yet. Then consider it an advance on the compensation. Years of running away from debt collectors, baby. This is true. This was so nonsensical it made Yorikawa's head hurt. But now at least he knew why Yanagishita had dived after the computer. The thief continued to weave his way through the side streets. His speed didn't diminish in the slightest. Damn it, this guy has too much experience running away. Yorikawa's stamina began to fade, and finally he lost sight of his quarry. But that didn't mean he was ready to give up the search. There were articles on the computer that were right on the verge of completion. Whatever it took, he had to get it back. Yanagishita had said he was going to sell it. Where could he be headed then? He probably was headed to the sales demo menu. Probably was headed to the knick-knack shop. Probably headed to Endo Electronics. Ooh. Probably a knick-knack shop? I don't know. Or the electronics shop, but electronics seems like a bit more, because my first instinct was pawn shop, and electronics store seems like more of a clever answer, and I don't think Yanagishita is the most clever, so probably he was headed to a knick-knack shop. You know how I recalled seeing one near the Burning Hammer sales demo space. He also recalled seeing a poster outside the place that read, "We buy computers at top prices." Detective Pengi is on the case. Damn, the guy had led him on a wild goose chase. That shop was surely where he was going to sell the laptop. Gulping a deep breath, he headed in that direction. There you are, Yanagishita. Yorikawa burst into the shop and sent her guy an accusing finger pointing squarely at the thief. Listen, there's no way I'm buying a computer that doesn't have a power cable. Details, details. All you sell here is junk anyways. Yanagishita and the shopkeeper had gotten into an argument. Minorikawa recognized the shopkeeper. It was the guy he'd run into on the roadside earlier. The computer belongs to me, Minorikawa shouted as he marched up to them. Yanagishita clutched the laptop to his chest. No, I need the money. Knock it off. You're acting like a child. Minorikawa tried to slap him out of his tantrum, but Yanagishita ducked to avoid the blow. And then, bizarrely, Yanagishita froze. A fierce gleam came into his eyes. He broke into an incomprehensible stammer. That's it! Yanagishita snatched up a flyer that his gaze had fixed on. Iron stomach, huh? That's right. Here's my little bluebird of happiness, he cried. You know what? You can have this. Yanagishita shoved the laptop into Minorikawa's arms. Haha, and welcome to it, you idiot. I don't need no worthless computer. Slap. You're the idiot, Buster. Minorikawa smacked Yanagishita right across the face. Ouch. Hitting him felt good. He decided to do it again. Minorikawa shoved Yanagishita towards the shopkeeper. Hand this guy over to the police, he said. Not the police, Yanagishita pleaded. Can it, you thief? You tried to rip me off, and you have no idea how much is riding on my word. You deserve 10,000 deaths. Honestly, you'd think dying once would be sufficient. 10,000? Isn't that taking things just a bit too far? I'm sorry already. I give up. Finally, the guy was ready to surrender. Minorikawa let his guard down for just a moment. Like hell I am! Switching gears in an instant, Yanagishita took off running at full speed. This again. Get back here, you bastard! Minorikawa was already in pursuit. He stuck with Yanagishita as far as Koendori before losing track of him. Breathing hard, Minorikawa took a look around the area. As he did, he heard a cell phone ringtone from somewhere nearby. It was the new single from the pop singer Kamiki. Could that be Yanagishita's phone? Huh. Could be. Somehow he struck Minorikawa as the type of guy who would have a ringtone like that. It seemed worth looking into, anyhow. He had nothing else to go on. Minorikawa shifted his gaze around, trying to locate the source of the sound. What? Did I just get smacked in the head? Suddenly, a massive fiery blast knocked him from his feet. By the time he realized it was an explosion, his senses were already shattered. What just happened? He couldn't see, he couldn't hear, he couldn't move his body. Where am I? For a while, all he could feel was an intense pain, but soon even that faded away. And then, there was only darkness. What the fuck? That's random. Okay. Interesting. That probably has to do, like, the explosion probably has to do with Osawa. Chasing Yanagishita had led Minorikawa to the wrong place at the exactly wrong time. This wouldn't have ever happened if Yanagishita hadn't run when he did. If the MMA fighter Miku Morita comes into the knickknack shop, she'll interrupt their argument and things might turn out differently. Interesting. Alright. That is such a... that image, though. Okay. We are going to indeed, though. Huh. We are indeed going to be ending on this cliffhanger, however, of this bad end. Well, Achi's bed end is now unblocked. But Karth's alt brat. True though. Anyways. Ow, my spine. I'm trying to crack my back. Ow, my tailbone. Ah, okay. Oh, feels good, man. Honestly, the first thing I do every morning is like I do like a lower body twist. So like I put my like legs and rotate my lower back and just do like the deepest pop in my tailbone. Feels good. Say something nice about yourself. I said earlier that I smell nice. I already know what I'm going to wear tomorrow, and it's cute as fuck. Is that a valid answer? Popping bones is nice. Yeah, it does feel good to release that air. LOL. Listen, I always look cute as fuck though, but I'm gonna look cute. I'm gonna look so fucking cute tomorrow. Anyways, yeah, I think that is where I will end it for today. Interesting. Okay, so well, obviously the explosion that caused Minorikawa is probably like somehow releasing of the well, actually I think the explosion is going to happen either way. With or without Minorikawa being there. Because I was thinking, oh, is it related to them releasing, right, the explosion for like the UA virus, but however, I don't think that the explosion is something we can stop either way. I'm unsure, but because it's still, yeah, again, it doesn't seem directly related to Minorikawa himself as the character. It just seems that it happened because, well, he was there, right? So unlucky. But anyways, yeah, I'm gonna end the stream for now because I'm out of water. I just bought my microphone really hard by accident, a little tired, and gotta use that because I drink water. Anyways.
Thanks everyone for coming by. It was nice to stream again after a week of, not being around. Next stream is gonna be on Thursday. We're either gonna do a little more Shibuya Scramble or Kingdom Hearts. I kinda wanna do Kingdom Hearts, but if I end up being too tired on Thursday, then we're gonna do, some Shibuya Scramble. So, anyways, thanks everyone for coming by again. It was great to see everyone again, and have a good rest of your days, okay? Bye!